Welcome to English with Teacher. I'm Teacher. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you're having a great day. So today I will be doing some very advanced comprehension and grammar and a bit of pronunciation with my co-host. We will be using Galatians chapter 2 verses 1 to 10 out of the New Living Translation Bible if you want to follow along. So it'll be a reading of it and then it will be an explanation of it. Okay? So, first things first, sir, would you please introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, my name is Stanley. I come from Vietnam. Today I'm here with teachers. I'm learning English with the teachers, so thank you.
Thank you for joining me and for helping out with the video. Okay, so I would ask you to please begin to read.
So I'm going to read right
Yes.
now, okay? Okay, so the apostle accepts Paul. Then 14 years later, I went back to Jerusalem again. This time with Barnabas.
Okay, it's Barnabas.
And Titus came along too. I went there because God revealed to me that I should go while I was there. I met privately with those considered to be leaders of the church and share with them the message I had been preaching to the Gentiles. To the Gentiles. I wanted to make I wanted to make sure that we worked in agreement, for fear that all my efforts has been wasted, and I was running the race for nothing. And they supported me and did not even demand that my companions Titus be circumcised.
That's not a very common word.
Custom, you mean circumcised as you mean sorry, how should I read that?
Circumcised.
Though he has a Gentile.
No. Slow down and read it.
Those he was the Gentile.
Right. You said though he had a Gentile. Okay.
Yes.
So what happens is when there's a big word, you jump ahead to the big word. And
Had?
no, when you read it the first time, right? You said though he had a Gentile instead of though he was a Gentile. So the problem is your eye skipped ahead to Gentile so you would pronounce it right. And you weren't paying attention to the words before it. And that's why you make that mistake. Trust me, a lot of my students make the same mistake. The problem is you're trying to figure out the big word and you're not paying attention to the little words before it. You understand?
Yeah, I understand.
So you have to be cautious of that.
Some words I will be considered like a big words, but some words I consider like it's not a big word, so maybe I just
Don't pay enough attention to them.
don't pay a lot of attention to.
And that's when you make the mistakes on them.
Yeah.
It's very easy to do, trust me. Okay, next.
Okay, so even those questions came up only because of some so-called Christians. Their thoughts once really were secretly bought in this snake in to spies on us and take away the freedom we have in Christ Jesus.
Right.
Christ Jesus. They wanted to enslave
Yeah.
us and force us to follow the
Yeah. The. Oh, follow. Whoa. Follow their.
follow their Jewish regulations,
Right.
but we refuse to give in to them for a single moment. I wanted to
Wait. We. You said.
Okay. We wanted to preserve
Yeah, preserve.
the truth. We wanted to preserve the truth of the gospel message for you and the leaders of the church. Nothing to add to what I was. And the leader of the church and the leader of the church has nothing to add to what I was preaching. By the way, their reputations as great leaders made no difference to me, for God had no preference. Instead, they saw dust. God had.
Okay, go back to instead.
Instead, they saw that God had given me the responsibility of preaching the gospel to the Gentiles, just as He has given Peter the responsibility of preaching to the Jews. For the same God who worked through Peter as the apostle to the Jews also worked through me as the apostle to the Gentiles. In fact, James, Peter, and John, who were known as pillars of the church, recognized the gift God had given me, and they accepted Barnabas and me as their co-workers. They encouraged us and keep preaching to the Gentiles while they continues the work with the Jews. The only suggestion was that we keep on helping the poor, which I have always been eager to do.
Very good. That's a long one. There's a lot in there. Okay, let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
And I will get you to start explaining it.
Okay, so...
Now what I want you to paraphrase. Okay?
Sorry?
I want you to paraphrase. I just want you to give me the important parts. Okay, so the first sentence is, then 14 years later I went back to Jerusalem again. This time with Barnabas, and Titus came along too. Okay? So what you can say is, after a time, Paul went to Jerusalem with 2 other people. Okay? The 14 years isn't important that it was 14 years. It's just that it was a time later. And the name of the people isn't that important. It's just that he went with 2 other people. Okay?
Okay.
So I want you to try to give me a shorter version, right, with just the important facts. And it lets me know that you're understanding what's being said when you can do this, okay? So try to do it with the next sentence. And let me know if you need me to tell you what any words mean.
So I'm going to read the next.
You're gonna explain it to me. You're not gonna read it. You're going to explain it to me.
He went there because God reveals to him that he should go. While he was there, he met privately with whom considered to be.
Okay, so let's just say this. He met with the leaders of the church.
Okay, he met the leaders of the church and said with them the message.
Right. Perfect. Next sentence.
But I want to say, like, those considered to be leaders of the church is mean like the future of the church. He will be the leader of the church.
No, those who are thought of as the leaders of the church. Back then, the church didn't have like a pastor or a pope or anything like that. So it's like you live in a community, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's certain people in your community who are considered to be the leaders of the community.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, they're not they're not like the mayor or anything. They're just respected leaders, knowledgeable people in the community, right? Okay, so that's why they were considered to be leaders.
And so with them, the message he has been preaching to the Gentiles.
Yeah, now you can just leave it at message. Share with them the message.
Share with them the.
Yeah, you don't have to give all the details. This is what I'm saying, right? So I'm trying to get you, and it's going to take a while, but I'm trying to get you to understand what's important and what's not important, right?
So he shared with them the message and help them, talk with them.
Okay, so look, this is how I would do this, okay? Okay. When he was there, he met with the leaders of the church and shared the message that he had been preaching. So I'd leave out a lot of it, right? I'd leave out the privately part, and I'd leave out the fact that they were considered to be the leaders, right? So I'd leave out a lot of that stuff because it's not the core importance. The important part is that he met with the leaders and he shared with them the message he'd been preaching. Right? And that was to get their approval on the message. To make sure that they agreed with what he was preaching. He wasn't trying to teach them, he was just saying, this is how I'm doing it. Does it match how you guys are doing it? Okay?
No, he met the leader of the church and stay with them and talk with them what he had been preaching.
Yeah, we'll talk with them about what he had been preaching. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now, next one.
Next one. He wants to make sure they was in agreement of fear that all is efforts has been wasted, and he was running the race for nothing. It's hard for me, this sentence.
Yep. I get it. Trust me. I know, like I said, I know this is hard. That's why we're doing it. Okay? So, this is what I was talking about. He wanted to make sure that they agreed with what he was saying. Okay? So he wanted to make sure that they were in agreement. Okay? So making sure someone's in agreement, you want to make sure that they agree with you. Okay? It's the same thing. And the reason he's saying this is he wanted to make sure that both the churches, they were very far apart. He wanted to make sure that they were saying the same thing. Okay? So he wanted to make sure that what he was teaching matched up with what they were teaching, so everybody was learning the same thing. Okay? Like two schools. If two schools are going to teach you math, they have to both teach you that 1 + 1 = 2. Or it's no good. So this is what he was trying to do. The churches were teaching. So he had to make sure that his church and the church in Jerusalem were teaching the same thing.
Same thing.
Okay? You understand what I'm saying?
He tried to make sure what he talking about is the same with the other church.
Yes, exactly. So everybody's learning the same message. Okay? And that's what it says after that, right? It says, and they supported me. And it says that they supported him, right? So what that's saying is they agreed with what he was preaching and said, yes, continue preaching that. Continue to teach the same way. Okay, don't worry about the last part of that. But if you look at the beginning of number 3, it says, and they supported me. Okay, which means that they were in agreement with him.
They are in agreement with him.
Right, about what he was teaching. Okay. And now go on to number 4.
Even this question came up only because of some so-called Christians that once really was crazy box in. They snaking
Right.
fire on us and take away the freedom. I just sorry. Can you just explain this to me?
Okay, so the church was new, and there were people who didn't want the church to exist. Okay? So they were sneaking into the church and they were trying to convince people that they had to live under the old laws instead of the new teachings. Right? There's a big difference. Jews had a set of laws that were really, really strict. Right? And the new church didn't preach that. It preached forgiveness. Okay? So they were trying to say that you still had to use the laws. So there was a lot of people trying to disrupt the church by saying what they're teaching isn't right. You need to live under these old laws. Okay? So that's what these people were trying to do. And that's what it says below that. They wanted to enslave us and force us to follow their Jewish regulations. So when they're talking about regulations, they're talking about the laws. The Jewish laws. Okay? So that's what that means. They snuck in. They were, and that's why it says so-called Christians, and then they said they were false ones. Because they said that they were Christians, but they weren't really Christians.
They're not really
Christians, right? Because they're not teaching the proper message. So they're trying to teach a different message.
try to teach a different message.
Right. Like I said, as things go on, they get more clearer, right? You're kind of coming in, because you're starting in a book near the end of the Bible, you're kind of coming in partway through the story. As we continue on with the chapters, things will get easier to understand. You'll start to realize what we're talking about. I have to explain a lot of this to you because you don't understand the dynamic of what's going on with the church and the people and everything like that, right? So it's like coming into a story halfway through and you don't understand the characters. So I have to explain the characters to you, and then you'll understand better the story, right?
That's better.
Yeah. So this is what we're going through now, and this makes it a little bit harder for you to understand too, right? And I get that. Don't worry. Okay? Just we'll deal with what's in front of you, and as it goes, you'll understand more. It's just a matter of time, right?
It's math, maybe. So.
Oh, definitely. Trust me. People think that they can come and learn English in one day, and it never, right? No, trust me, it takes 6 months to a year to learn English and to learn to understand it properly.
No, I think this subjects, this title is pretty hard. It's hard for me.
It will be at first, right? But you have to give it time. As you give it time, you will learn. Don't worry. Okay? I'm patient. I will sit here and I will explain it to you till you know what I mean? I will break it down and I will explain it all to you. Don't worry. Okay?
Explain it.
Yes, and as I explain more, you'll understand more. And as you understand more, it'll become easier. You just have to take the time to do it. I'll take the time to teach you if you want to take the time to learn.
Good thing takes time.
Right. Okay? So I'll take the time to teach you. I have no problem doing that. But you have to take the time to learn.
I need to take time to focus every...
Yes. Okay, so let's go on. Yeah, and at the end he's just saying that we refused to give in to them because we wanted to preserve the gospel message. So what it is the gospel is what they're teaching, what Paul and his friends are teaching. Okay? So when they say our teaching, they're talking about teaching the gospel. What other people are teaching is the Jewish laws. Okay? So you know the difference. When they refer to the gospel, they're referring to the message that Paul and Barnabas and Peter are teaching. Okay, you see that word gospel down there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the gospel is what Paul is teaching. That's his textbook that he's teaching from. A lot of the other people are trying to teach from the Jewish book. And he's trying to say, get rid of the Jewish book and learn our way of doing things. Okay? So that's where that's a big conflict that's going on in the teaching right now. Okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So let's go on to 6.
The 6, as the leaders of the church, nothing. What was nothing before nothing?
They had nothing to add.
They have nothing to add. What he was 6.
Preaching, saying,
Stage 2, so I don't see it.
On the next page.
Oh my goodness. Okay. and the leaders of the church have nothing to add. The leader of the church have nothing to ask. What, to understand what he was preaching?
Well, okay, so you come to me, right? It's like this. Okay, so you say something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I go, that's good. In other words, I have nothing to add to what you said because what you said is right. Okay? If you did something wrong, I would add to it and say, well, you need this, you need this.
Uh-huh.
Right? But because what he was saying was right, they had nothing to add to it. So by that, they're basically saying, no, what you're doing is good, don't worry about it. You understand? It's like if you write something, right? And you give to your teacher, and it's wrong, they add something to it. But if what you write is correct, they have nothing to add to it. It's good.
They have nothing to say because it's word perfect.
Right.
It's really perfect.
And that's exactly what they're saying. The leaders had nothing to add to what I was preaching. So basically, yeah, so in that happening, they basically told him, "No, you're doing a good job. Keep up the good work." Okay. And then you can go on to 7.
Is death? Oh my God. They saw that God has given him the responsibility of preaching the gospel to the Gentile, just as he has given Peter the responsibility of preaching to the Jews.
Okay, so now let me explain this to you. The Jews were a different religion. Okay? So the Jews were a different religion like Buddhists. Like Buddhism is a different religion. Okay? Gentiles were considered atheists. Do you know what atheists are? They have no religion.
Oh, Gentiles, they have no religions.
Right. A lot of Vietnam is mostly Buddhist and atheist. So there's people who follow Buddhism, and there's a lot of people who just don't believe in any religion. Okay.
Yeah,
okay, so you're an atheist. Back in those days, they called atheists Gentiles. Okay, just so you know who he's talking about here. So what he's doing is he's going out and he's telling people like you what God is saying. Okay? Okay. So, on to 8.
For since God worked through Peter as the apostle, the Jews also worked through he as the apostle to the Gentiles.
So you understand what that means?
What through? What is mean? Understand?
Okay, so what he's doing is what he's teaching are things that God has shown him. Okay? So he's not teaching from his own knowledge. Okay? So God is working through him to teach.
Oh, the God's working through him this.
Right.
It's not him only.
Right.
The God is yeah.
Right. So what he's saying is the same God that's working through him to teach the atheists is working through Peter to teach the Jewish people. So they're both working for the same God. Right?
Okay.
You understand that now?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
Yes. We go into the next. In fact, James, Peter, and John, who were known as pillars of the church, they James, Peter, and John, they also accept what he preaching is the truth?
Yes. Very good. Very good. You see, you're understanding more already, right? It just... It takes some time. Like, I have to explain the context of everything to you. Give it a couple more weeks and it'll start to get easier, trust me. Plus your English comprehension is going to get better at the same time, so that's going to help you.
Yes. Yeah. This one really is a big thing for me. So I'm going to the next one or something?
Yep.
And the people in the church, as James, Peter, and John, they encourage us. Us here is probably mean like Paul's, maybe the people who believe in God.
Well, it means Paul and the people who were preaching with him. Excuse me. So we know Paul, Barnabas, and Titus. It might have been more people as well. Right? Because Barnabas and Titus are with him. So they're encouraging Paul. When it says us, it probably means Paul, Barnabas, and Titus.
So the last this one is they encourage people keep preaching and keep preaching to the Gentiles to be believe.
Right.
God help the poor, they can help the other people, and they something really good.
Yes. That's one of the most important things. The church is supposed to help the poor. That's one of the most repeated things in the Bible, is the church is supposed to help the poor. A lot of churches seem to forget that, but churches are supposed to help the poor. That's one of the biggest things that they're supposed to do. Okay, do you have any questions for now, sir? It's a lot of work. Do you have any questions that you need answered?
So about this paragraph is talking about how keep preaching to the Gentiles about the God.
Yes.
It does.
This whole section is about Paul going to another church and making sure that what he's teaching is accurate. Okay? And basically that church told him, yes, what you're preaching is accurate. Continue doing the same thing. So he got the approval of the other leaders of the church to continue preaching the same message he was preaching. Okay? Anything else?
I don't understand the false, the false. Even the question cannot only. Can you just explain like some so-called their phone ones only really schools?
Okay, so-called Christians. When you're saying so-called, it's like somebody who says that they're something, but they don't act like it. Okay? They're not really what they say they are. So they're called Christians, but they're not acting like Christians. Right? It's like someone who calls themselves a leader, but they don't act like a leader. You know? So if you have a poor leader in charge of your town, you might say the so-called leader of our town, right? Because they have the title of leader, but they're not really a leader. So you say so-called, because they're called that even though they're not that. Okay?
Not a good one.
Yeah, it's a way of criticizing people for the way they are, right? And not living up to what they're supposed to do. So that's why they say they're false ones. They're not real, they're false. So a so-called leader isn't a real leader, he's a false leader. Right? Because he doesn't act like a leader, so he's not a real leader. He's a false leader.
False leader.
Right. You understand?
Okay. It's not the real Christians.
Yes. They're not real Christians, they just call themselves Christians.
The fake Christian.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so cool. That's a good word for me. I have to learn it. I have to learn it. I have to learn about this. Some so-called good people, but also just.
Yeah, it's not just church that has these type of people. You meet them everywhere, trust me.
Anywhere in my life.
Okay, anything else?
Bishop. What does bishop mean? Bishop to the truth. Bishop.
Where is that?
The fight, but we refuse to give them the fight.
What number?
5.
5. We refuse to give in to them for a single moment. We wanted to preserve the truth. To preserve something is to keep it good.
Keep it good?
Yes. Do you can things? You put them in jars and seal them like vegetables and food? Do you do that there?
So, sorry, can I say that again?
Do you put food in jars?
Put food in
jars to use later on.
What?
Food.
Yeah.
In jars to use after. Do you store food?
Sorry.
Do you store food?
Store food?
Yes. If you pick vegetables from outside and you want to eat them 6 months from now, You store them.
I have to store them.
Right. So you put them in bottles, right? Those are called preserves. Because you're preserving the food for later. So they want to preserve the truth. They want to keep the truth. Is what they're saying, right? They want to preserve the truth of the gospel. So they want to keep the truth of the gospel.
They want to keep the truth of the
Right.
gospel.
Preserving something means you keep it good for a long time.
Continues long time.
Okay. Hang on. Preserve. Keep something good for a long time. There you go. Okay.
Okay. Preserve. So keeps on something to long time. Maintains. To maintain something.
Yes.
To protect something a long time.
Kind of. A little bit different meaning, but that's why they use it for food.
Yeah.
Because you're keeping it good, you're keeping it, usable, edible for a long time.
I can you and to eat in the long time.
Yes.
Like when I put it in fridge.
Yeah, but if it's preserved, it doesn't have to be in the fridge.
It's the normal one to maintain in safely from injuries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really good one.
Anything else?
The nice paragraphs, In fact, James, Peter, and John, who was known as pillars. Who is Peter?
Who were known as pillars. A pillar it's like a foundation. Okay? So a pillar is a big support that holds a roof up.
The same as God?
No, a pillar of the church. So they're talking about somebody who the church is built on. Somebody you have a pillar of your community. Somebody who's strong and righteous and good. Right? And your community depends on him because he's a pillar of the community. A pillar is someone who supports the community, supports the church. He's strong.
Also?
More. Your father is a pillar of your house.
The leader.
Leader, he supports your house. He makes sure your house stays intact.
Yeah.
Right? He cares for everyone in the house. Okay? So that's what a pillar is. A pillar, as a person, is a strong, sacrificial leader.
Okay.
Okay, we're all good?
That's really okay though. There's something. There's still something. Okay, I think only like this. Maybe I need to.
If you have any more questions, you can message me.
I need to message you if I have any more questions.
I think you're starting to understand a lot more, though. You know?
That?
I said I think you're starting to understand a lot more about it.
Yeah, a lot more about.
Yeah, like I said, it takes time. And don't worry, I'm very patient, and I understand that this is hard, right? So don't beat yourself up. It's going to take time, and I'll take the time to teach you if you'll take the time to learn. Don't worry about it. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, but like I said, it's going to take time. I totally get that. And I'm not impatient about it. So let's take our time and do it right.
I hope someday when I look back again about this like a lot, I will understand all and why .com I don't understand, but now I understand.
You will, don't worry. I've gone through this with a few students, and it takes time, but yeah, it you know, that's the way it goes, right? You've only done, what, 3-4 lessons so far? So it's going to take time. Right?
Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I will let you go. I will get you the next lesson in a little bit. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I hope that you learned a lot from this. There was a lot in this to learn. Okay? Like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends. Let's get as many people watching as we can, please. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.